Hello, what's going on? Welcome back to Force Strategy Gaming, and we're going to be taking a look at one of the giant Force Strategy team games that I'm trying to do at least every night, if at all possible. Whenever I get the chance to go on, it's usually sometime around midnight Eastern Standard Time, and then I let everyone know on my channel as well as my Twitter and my live stream that we're going to be doing a big team game. This time it actually only ended up being a 5v5, and yeah, let's just go ahead and take a look at the teams. We have myself here as the Pink Terran Ekroth, and then Tempest here as the what is this, dark gray Protoss. We have the dark blue Protoss over here, Existence, the green Zerg Iron Chef, and then the blue Protoss Slifen. And then our opponents in this matchup are red Terran Lemmy, purple Protoss Uric the Boss. We do have the black Protoss Dark Killer, the yellow Terran Flying Paup, and the teal Zerg Dead Soul. So this is a 5v5 here in Marsara Wastes. And yeah, let's take a look at the action here. I am going to be going for a very fast expansion. You can see that Expo actually did go ahead and drop before the barracks down. Slifen has just recognized right now that the red Terran player is right next door. So he's a little bit concerned about that, and he is going to be doing what he can to take him out. I think he actually goes for a cannon rush, so that's quite interesting. I don't know if that was the best of decisions. I think he actually would have been much better off if he had just gone for like an early 4-gate and tried to hit him really hard. That actually would have been probably a lot more effective. We can see over here some more people on my team going for that fast expo as well. Iron Chef does have his expo up. Tempest sitting with his expansion over here. Let's take a look at the other team. Uric the Boss looks like he is starting out with like 2 or 3 gate robo, something like that. Dark Killer over here, he does have that cannon up for some early game defense, also sitting on those 2 gateways. Flying Paup's going to be going for a quick expansion as well. 2 racks expand looks to be his MO, and then Dead Soul is also going for an expo. Given the sheer size of this map, obviously, you know, players pretty safe to play a macro heavy game, and here is Slifen moving on down with these cannons, so that's quite interesting. Marine's going to be pushing forward and dropping those very quickly. Slifen not really having much of a chance when those get dropped so incredibly quickly by those Marines. And it looks like Lemmy might be trying to come out with some Banshees. That is quite possible right here. Yes, he is. In fact, Lemmy going to be pumping out some Banshees. I don't think those are going to help that well against those cannons. I think it would have been a lot smarter if he tried to go for some tanks here. And look at this. Also have Iron Chef moving in with some Zerglings, trying to do as much harassment as possible, pulling back to the safety there of those photon cannons. Taking a look over here, what am I doing? I decided to play mech heavy. I've got these 3 factories coming down. I think I end up getting a 4th sometime soon as well, and I'm actually going to end up picking an expansion here. I think I'm going to drop that command center over here and land it over here. We'll talk about that once that actually comes into place. Taking a look over here, Uric the Boss, he is just continuing. He did decide to go for that 3-gate robo. Over here, Dark Killer, looks like he's actually getting some more gateways down now that he's finished with those cannons. And we've got a Banshee moving across the board. Lemmy's Banshee is going to be moving straight into the base of Iron Chef. I don't think Iron Chef has any cloak detection. He does have this hatchery that's turning into a lair right now, but it is nowhere near complete at this point in time, so a little bit dangerous situation. That Banshee is going to start to do some work there. Another Banshee moving forward. I started to save energy for a scan, and hopefully we get that down sometime soon. You can see he has stopped mining, and yeah, I didn't have enough energy pulling forward those Marines. Was actually incredibly stupid of me. I don't know why that happened. Here's that expansion getting ready to drop down. Not a whole lot of action moving down. Uric the Boss actually checking for his opponents over here. I don't know why he didn't just watch the Banshee of his teammate over here, Lemmy. And what's going on between these two? Slifen continuing up that cannon harass and actually starting to be effective here, getting within range of these buildings. Lemmy is in a whole lot of trouble. The Banshee harassment is pretty much all but stopped right now. We have an Overseer on the board, and that Queen should be enough to push that back right now. So Banshee harassment no more from Mr. Lemmy, and he is getting cannon rushed to the death. So Lemmy has just been taken out of the game right now, and finally that Banshee did end up dropping to that little bit of a Queen fire right there. And let's take a look over here. What our opponent's doing. Uric the Boss having a decent mix there of Protoss units. Also going to be getting up that engineering, or not that engineering, but that robotics base so that he can get some Colossus on the board. He does himself have an expansion. Pretty much everyone is sitting on an expo right now, except for unfortunate Lemmy, who got cannon rushed. Besides Lemmy, though, everyone working on an expo. Tempest has got 3 expansions. I am getting my 3rd expansion right now as well. So again, expanding so hard on this giant map, very effective. And here is the mech play. Again, that's what I decided to go for this game. I really like mech play in team games. I think I actually just went Hellion Thor this time. I usually throw some tanks in there as well, but I stuck primarily with Hellion Thor, relying on my teammates for any of that ranged splash damage. And yeah, that cannon harassment for Slifen has stopped. He's dropped another expo right now, so doing the wise thing. Again, on a map this size, you really need to expand hard, get that strong economy, and then just pump some stuff out. Finally now finishing his warp gate research. We're only 12 minutes into the game, but again, he did invest so many resources into that cannon pressure. We can see right now Iron Chef moving around with some Zerglings. He was actually just checking these high yields. If a player gets up this high yield quickly and it goes unnoticed, that can be absolutely devastating because they can get such a huge economic advantage. And here we go, Iron Chef pushing forward. He's going to be walking right into this giant force here of the opponent, so he's going to be using these Zerglings for nothing more than scouting, moving around, actually trying to do some economic damage there. Would like to see him to push those back, but no, he doesn't manage to. And we did also just have some Void Rays hit the board over here for Dark Killer. Neither team going to be pushing out right now. Everyone just continuing up, expanding, continuing to macro up. Looks like Existence is actually going to be trying to push down and grab this high yield. I know that I eventually tried to do that as well. Tempest getting another base right now. Tempest sitting on 4. Here I am moving up to my 4th as well. So yeah, just continuing up that heavy expand. And here we go, finally dropping a ton of factories. I ended up sitting on, I think, 15 to 20 factories, and also going to be working on those upgrades right now, working on those level 2 upgrades for my Thors, my Hellions, and my Siege Tanks. Those mechanical units getting nice and upgraded right now. And Yurk the Boss is getting ready to push out. Slifen looking like he may be very vulnerable. Doesn't have a lot right now. In fact, taking a look at that army tab, Slifen only at 78, so pretty low right there. That early game cannon rush, all of these resources wasted set him back so far. Obviously, at the same time, it did manage to take Lemmy out of the game, putting him and secluding him to this island expansion. And actually, Yurk deciding not to push out right now. He was just going for the expo himself, and it looks like Dead Souls is continuing up to expand as well. So yeah, we have just been seeing a game of mass expansion so far, and just a little bit of harassment. We do have this one Banshee starting to do some work here though, and Slifen, I dropped that scan for him. He actually pinged for that scan there. You can see scan please, and managed to drop it just in time before he did take off that pylon. And I think I'm getting ready to do it again, or though he does have an observer. Yes, he does. And even with that pylon dropped, he had that second pylon reinforcing, so he didn't end up losing that, luckily for him, and he manages to take that out with the assistance of that photon cannon as well. And here we go, we do have some units finally pushing out across the board. Dark Killer is going to be starting to make his way into Slifen's base. He doesn't have a lot though, moving around with just this very small force in fact. I think he's just staging up, and I wouldn't be too surprised if Yurk the Boss decides to push out right now as well. I don't actually recall what happened. Iron Chef going for this far outreaching expo over here. Dark Killer continuing up to expand as well. You can see right now I am sitting here with my mech heavy army, sitting right now on 1, 2, 3, 4 bases. So mining out of 4 bases right now, the main and the natural for me, however, getting very slim at this point. Just continuing up those constant upgrades. And what did Tempest do? Why is he so upset? Tempest moved over here with some stalkers, and Lemmy is not too thrilled about that at all. At the same time, we have this big attack being staged here. Yurk the Boss as well as Dark Killer moving up into the front of Slifen's base right now, and they are about to push in. I did bring my mech army right down there so I can get ready to push and help with this, but here comes the big engagement of this game right now. Colossus as well as Stalkers pushing up into the main base of Slifen. We have Dark Killer here as well. Here I am with my Hellions and Thors testing the waters. Very dangerous situation. I was actually just going for some of those Zerglings as well as those Zealots and decided to push back. I'm waiting for some assistance here, and Dead Soul's pushing forward with Roach Heavy, and that's actually very dangerous for me. Getting those Hellions in the back, because right now I didn't see any light units, and those Hellions aren't actually going to do that well. And here we go, Existing pushing forward with a ton of Colossus, and this is going to be phenomenal. So Colossus moving forward. Would like to see him attack with those instead of just walking them around though. These Thors fully upgraded do tremendous amounts of damage. These Hellions unfortunately going to get dropped pretty quickly. We do still have these Colossus, but Thors plus Colossus are just absolutely wreaking havoc on all these units, even though he has so much. There's so many Roaches here from Dead Souls and so many Stalkers from Yurk the Boss, but still these heavy later tier units in the Colossus and Thors. Just absolutely roasting and devastating. At the same time, Slifen moving forward with some Void Rays. We do have Iron Chef moving down as well with some of these Infestors. He got some nice fungal growths down there, and we did manage to mop up all of the forces of Yurk the Boss and Dark Killer. So that big engagement there was definitely a big deciding factor in this game. Taking those out was absolutely devastating. Dead Soul's trying to move in with some Zerglings. Those are not going to do so well against my Blue Flame Hellions. Those get mopped up incredibly quickly, and we are looking right now to push out with a counterattack. We do have of flying Palp moving out with a lot of units right now, but unfortunately he's moving in a direction that is not very beneficial to his teammates. Let's going to pick this back up, go back into 2 times speed. What do we got going on? A few Zerglings making their way across the board over here. I think they might be heading straight to Iron Chef's base. We do still have a few of the forces of existence and Iron Chef just sitting in the middle, and Tempest actually moving forward to take out Yurk the boss's base. Yurk does not have quite enough. It doesn't look like he's going to be trying, though. Blinkstalkers moving forward. We do need those Void Rays to engage those Colossus. They're going to drop him down. Yes, they are. Blinkstalkers dropping him down, as well as those Void Rays, and it looks like Yurk the boss is going to be losing this Expo. I think Tempest does have enough, getting some assistance here from existence at the same time. And look at this, another big push coming down. Lots of Marines and lots of tanks, and I'm moving forward with those Hellions. I'm going to roast all of those Marines very, very quickly. Look at how quickly all of those Marines get dropped to those Blue Flame Hellions. Absolutely ridiculous. Now that the Marines are gone, you're going to be just moving forward with those Thors. I don't really want to engage with those Blue Flame Hellions. Those tanks would obviously take those out very quickly. And over here, Tempest did manage to mop up this base of Yurk the boss, so putting our opponents here on the back foot right now. And besides that, I don't think there's any other harassment going on. I do finally start to get up this high yield expansion. We can see, unfortunately, Lemmy, I think he may have actually left the game. Yeah, there was nothing that he could do once Tempest actually ended up moving in with those Blink Stalkers and dropped this Expo. He was already, at that point in the game, so far behind in Slife, and here we go, moving forward. A big engagement on our opponents here. He's going to be moving into the backside and taking out so much right now. We do also have Dead Souls for their defense, trying to mount out right at the front of the base, but we are going to be seeing a big push right now from Tempest and myself, and I think Existence is going to push forward as well. Hopefully Iron Chef decides to join the battle, and again, look at these Void Rays from Slife and just absolutely going to town on Yurk the boss's base, and Yurk not being able to do much. He can't actually get units in fast enough to deal with the amount of damage that these charged up Void Rays are doing, and Dead Souls trying to push out right now, trying to move out and mount a counterattack. We've got Iron Chef moving forward as well as myself and Tempest, and this is not looking good. Yurk the boss already calling the GG. I don't think he's left quite yet, but it will be shortly, because here we go, Iron Chef streaming Zerglings into the main base. Hellions and Thor is going to make quick work here, plus these Void Rays, Stalkers, and Colossus going to make very quick work of the small Roach army of Dead Souls, continuously pushing them back right now. And yeah, look at this, absolutely devastating. Zerglings running rampant inside of the base here, and actually nothing going on against them. The Void Rays continuing to go to town, so Slifen doing a really good work here against Yurk the boss, and here I am moving forward as well with those Hellions and Thors, and right now it looks like Team Force has won the game. It just doesn't look like, unfortunately, Dark Killer did have enough to be able to deal with this. A few units here from Tempest, as well as Existence pushing forward, and Yurk the boss has officially lost his entire base. I think I move around right now with my Hellions and try to figure out if I can snipe any workers or anything like that. Nice little opportunity for me here to take out a bunch of Zerglings, also dropping that Hydra very quickly right now. And yes, unfortunately, looks like he did actually leave the game. So, yeah, he didn't leave the game, rather. It looks like Lemmy was still in the game, but it didn't really matter. Even with those 2,000 supply depots somewhere. What? I don't understand what he's talking about. Oh, look at that. Well, it's a lot of supply depots. Good for him. So anyways, yeah, at this point it was unfortunately the end of the game for our opponents. We did manage to mop them up. Tempest and I both expanding very hard, as well as our teammates, and we didn't see quite enough expansions from the opponents here. And then on top of that, the fact that we did manage to mop up what little expos they did have, that was pretty much the end of that game. So yeah, guys, this was another team game, a big team game for Force Strategy Gaming. I try to do these every night if possible. Keep an eye on my live stream, justin.tv/ForceStrategyGaming. I put the live stream up before it actually starts. I let everyone know that we're going to be starting it, and then if you are around and you join the chat channel FGG in StarCraft 2, then you can join in this team game as well. We do have the option of up to 7v7. We have done it before, and we're likely to be doing it again. We also do some fun free-for-all games. So that about does it, guys. As always, this has been Force from Force Strategy Gaming. If you enjoy the content, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Keep watching and keep owning. Production. I also thought about expanding once more, but then decided against it because I figured if I can't end this right now, then the game's probably over as it is. And here's that big push coming forward, lots of tanks moving forward. I also went with those heavy Marines because I knew that he was probably going to continue to try to go for those mutas. But because of the Banshee harassment, because of that Hellion harassment, and honestly, largely in part to the due that I gave, largely in due to the fact that I gave Tempest control of my units so I could focus on macroing back at home, we were actually able to just mop them up. Tempest has been